get like why it drops. Timing's really tight. Replay feature. Like, what was wrong with that? It's like, you gotta understand what counts and what doesn't. This combo also doesn't feel like it really needs to exist. How often are you going to be jumping in like this? There's probably easier combos you can do for more damage. Yeah, this is like not really practical combo. Especially since what it considers to be a true combo is very weird. I guess I have to not go into a bunch. Yeah, why did that not count? Apparently you get stuff for unlocking this. I want to keep trying, but kind of janky. Like, there's still a hit stuff, but it doesn't... counter doesn't register. Why did that not count? There we go. Yeah, that definitely could benefit from a replay, like a replay feature, so you can see what you're supposed to do. I don't know if I want to do another one of those, though. I mean, it teaches you how to play, but the way that it considers a combo to be like, you know, blue beat like Blaze Blue is really weird. Probably have to do all of them as well. Yeah, the weight classes in the in this game are like really not fun. Makes the combo system kind of pointless in a way because there's no guarantee it's gonna work on the bosses. I think they should definitely lighten up on that a little bit. Just make it so that there's one weight class. Yeah, it's give you though. That's pretty cool. High quality blind gameplay. Boss is pretty tough. High quality blind gameplay. Please just die! Help! All these obnoxious ads that keep coming back. You need to let you combo these bosses way more. Do anything to the bosses at all in this game. They fall down so quick. I don't know, man. If you're gonna have ads that keep respawning and then the armor and stuff, like, you should be able to do a little bit more to the bosses in return, but it always feels like in this game, you hit them and it doesn't feel satisfying because they walk out of it. You walk out of it too quick, they fall down too quick, and then not able to really do a lot of damage. That's probably my biggest complaint about this game. The bosses are like actually really good for a beat 'em up. They're actually like really in depth and well designed. They don't just kind of stand there and let you punch them. It's just that it feels too one-sided right now. It's a constant uphill battle with like the ads and stuff. It's nice that the ads drop food, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to hit the bosses. They fall too quick. It feels like the combo system's kind of pointless in this game. Low-key pointless. Just because... yeah, you know, they do take hit stun. Most of them take hit stun, but they don't really allow you to do anything that you want, right? That's like the biggest thing they need to fix with this game. Rewarding to break their guard and everything, but it's just kind of not right now. said, "What's up, man? You've been playing Origins." That's all I said. Nothing important. a little loud. Not wasting the coins and coming back. That'd be time to wipe this run. Played a little? Yeah, I haven't been playing it that much. I just feel like they're gonna make that game so much better. They're gonna make it, like, insanely better. Although, if they added attack speed to the game, I would definitely play it more. I would definitely play it a lot more if it had attack speed. Definitely feels like in that game, being slow is a really big detriment. It really does feel like if you're slow, you just can't do much. About what I expected, though. Hey, nice. This game is pretty cool. I just feel it's too punishing at the start. In a way, they're kind of lucky they haven't really... I don't know how good the launch day's been for them, but yeah, they're probably gonna get a lot of complaints about how hard it is. I think they should definitely lighten it up a little bit. First attack after evading will deal critical damage. Huh. Yeah, these passive classes actually change a lot, I think. Yeah, Origins is a really good game, but I definitely do feel it loses luster too quick, which is weird because like they only have one character. It's just the builds are so boring. That's what I can't get over that game. The builds are just so boring. I don't know how you go from like Neo and Wo Long and Stranger in Paradise to that game. We could just like take the loot out of that game and then we'd barely be able to notice. They need to do something about that pronto. And it's weird because like you have to fight the bosses, you can't just burst them down, but at the same time grinding to do that was fun, and now it's just kind of gone. Not really sure how they can fix that. It's like they have post-game content in the game, and it's pretty interesting stuff, but there's a number of things that really wear it down. The fact that you can't customize the rank 8 weapons. There's just nothing interesting on the weapons at all. Also, the accessories are all just stat increases. They're not interesting. It puts me in a difficult spot because I want to keep making videos for the game, but I feel like if I play it the extra 30, 40, 50 hours it's going to take to finish everything, and then they make the game 1,000 times better, I'm going to get burnt out. And people are like, why aren't you playing? I'm like, well, for one thing, I worked my ass off on those videos and they did terribly. And that's no one's fault. It's just the algorithm, like I was talking about in my Discord, but like also, I know that they're gonna make that game so much better, because that's how 9 was. Even vanilla Dynasty Warriors 8. You remember how bad the weapon fusion it was in that? Same thing with vanilla Basara 4, the first versions of those games. The weapon fusion was terrible, and they fixed it. And they lightened up on that, and the game instantly became a lot better. There's a number of things wrong with the weapon system in that game beyond just the fact that the stuff you can put on the weapons is boring. The fact that you can only do it from rank to rank, you can't customize the 7 or 8 weapons, the grade 7 or 8 weapons. You also can't fuse them together. It's just like not interesting. And you'd think with like only one character and 10 movesets that, you know, they would have like more creative agency to do stuff like that, but for some reason when the game had 100 characters, there was more that you could do, but then they cut it down to 1 and there's less. That's really weird to me. Does anyone else find that weird? I was expecting the build stuff to be like way more in-depth. You still get a decent amount of loot as well. It's not as much as like Neo or Stranger in Paradise, where it's like just raining loot non-stop and there's too much of it. But like it's all just pointless. Hopefully they'll put out like some kind of statement about like how they're going to improve the game. That would reignite my interest. The first playthrough that I did while I was under embargo was great. I loved every second of it. It was a great game. But after I got to that point, I'm like, this game just doesn't really have longevity at all. unless you care about the story, and I mean, they did put a lot of effort into the story, but like at the same time, gameplay-wise, as soon as you get the halberd, you've seen everything the game has to offer. There's not really much else left. And for a game with 3 really long and detailed and polished routes, that sucks. I've definitely played smaller games than that encourage you to play the game 2 or 3 times better than Origins does. And that's a shame because they put so much work into it, but the gameplay component of the game, you've seen everything the time you roll the credits the first time. All that's really left is the halberd. And the halberd is cool and overpowered, but that should be like the only hook. It's a shame, really. I think they put a decent amount of effort into Ultimate Warrior, but grinding the stats is not fun, and also most of the rewards are lackluster. The weapons are nice because they like double your attack power, but they don't have anything interesting on them. You can't fuse them. Getting the guards and stuff I feel is mostly pointless because the guard system is not as good as it should be. The guards drop like flies. I think they could do with like doubling their health or something. And, like, I don't really want 15 more guards. The abilities you can do with the guards, the squad abilities, are like way too long cooldown. It feels like you have to camp in base to get them back like every time. And when you see like I get like 1 more guard, I'm like, okay, that doesn't really make me want to keep playing. But, hopefully those things will be ironed out. I think it's a relatively easy thing to fix. It reminds me of Scarlet Nexus. You guys remember Scarlet Nexus? I didn't play that game on the channel that much, but you know, it doesn't have much replay value. And then they kept doing updates for like 2 years. I'm like, when can I play this game? Because I'm like most likely only going to play it once. That game was definitely a lot like that too. You got the worst experience if you played that game at launch, regardless of how much you paid for it. Because they kept improving and adding all this stuff to it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to play this right now because you're going to make it like 3 times better. That's definitely how I feel about Origins. It's a really great foundation, but the gameplay loop is just flawed. Just all the stuff you get is so boring. No, the ball's in their court. There's just like a couple minor things would make the second and third playthroughs a lot better. I mean, let's put it this way, Gro. They updated 9 for 3 years. And they added an insane amount of stuff to that game, and everybody hated that game. Everybody hated that game. The fans hated it, the reviewers hated it. They supported that game for 3 years. That's why I don't want to like burn myself out on the game right now. Unless they add like some kind of endgame mode or something. I mean, weapons and stuff is going to take a minimum of a few months. I don't really think they had DLC planned for the game because they weren't sure how it was going to do, but now that it's doing so well, I'm sure that those plans have changed already. It's going to take us a few months before we even see anything from it, but the game is doing insanely well. It's even got normies playing it, and the game journalists like it. I mean, they have no reason to not support it, but if they didn't like build the game with DLC in mind, it might take a lot longer. At the same time, just adding like more interesting shit for the weapons and accessories and stuff like they did for 9, they could do that relatively quickly and it would make the replay value so much better. I hope that they go that route. I mean, I hope they add more movesets and stuff just like everyone else does, but like, just give me like the gems back. Give me like more kinds of gems. You know, like challenging missions and stuff where I could get like new weapon abilities. They already kind of have that in the game with the the weapons you can get in the hard difficulty that give you more proficiency. They already have that in the game. They just need to make it more interesting. Uh, I just don't want it to be like Three Hopes, because Three Hopes had the same problem. Three Hopes was the exact same problem. It was the same problem for a different reason. That game also had 3 story modes. It had a good foundation, but gameplay-wise, you saw everything after the first playthrough. There is very little reason to play it past that. And for me, personally, I like Three Kingdoms. I don't care about Fire Emblem. I skipped all the cutscenes. Once I did the first playthrough, I got burnt out. There just wasn't anything real interesting hook to keep playing. It's interesting. That was the previous Musou game. I mean, there was no Musou game from like 2021 till now. There's no Musou game for like 3.5 years, and both the games have the exact same problem. Like the first playthrough, like, this is really fun. I'm gonna put like 100 hours into this, and then you roll the credits once, and it's like, wait a minute. All that's really left to play it for is the story. And if you're not a story-oriented gamer, it's got like 30 hours of content. How long you have to wait for the changes? I mean, if they just add more interesting loot and stuff, they could probably do it in like within the next month. But it really depends, because like Three Hopes really felt like it was set up for DLC, because they had so many clones in that game, and they already had like multiple maps and stuff. They could have just like added a few more weapons and like some kind of end game mode, and the game would have had a lot more replay value. But they never did. Three Hopes didn't get a single piece of DLC. It had the little launch bonus, and that was it. There was nothing else. Uh, but yeah, I don't know if he played Three Hopes, but it was very similar to Origins. Very good first impression. Honeymoon period ends the moment you beat it once. And I mean, it's not entirely a bad thing. Um, but you know, Musou games are known for being games you can sink like 100+ hours into if you really like it. And I feel like Three Hopes and Origins kind of have the same problem. There's not really a lot of reason to play it more than once. I'd argue, gameplay wise, you've seen everything out to the first playthrough, right? You could just go watch the cutscenes online. Especially because that's the other thing about the game is, like, having a silent protagonist doesn't really mean anything. The only meaningful choice you make is which faction you serve. That's it. All the like conversations and stuff, they don't have any bearing on anything. Uh, they definitely could have improved that as well. Like having the guy not talk and everything, and like the choices. I mean, it does change the voice lines, but it doesn't have any impact on the gameplay at all. Um, I don't know. It's kind of a weirdly designed game. It's a really great game. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on it. I loved it, especially the first playthrough, but the cracks kind of start to show. It's interesting how they were posting about adding more weapons. I think that's probably him say he probably can't officially say it, but they probably are going to add more stuff to the game. I mean, it'd be stupid not to. This is a company that did like 3 season passes and 3 years of post-launch content for Nine, a game that no one liked. And now they have a Musou. Musou's basically back. They probably got like so many more Musou games greenlit just because Origins is doing well. Um, but yeah, weird situation to be in for sure. I mean, they did pretty quick fixes for Nine relatively quickly. Nine actually had a significant amount of DLC, and no one wants to admit it, but the DLC for that game was really good. And then you look at games that came out after, like Samurai Warriors 5 and Three Hopes, and like Samurai Warriors 5 did get DLC, but it was pointless DLC because it didn't fix the problems of the game, right? The problem with 5 is like having 45 characters and 15 movesets. The DLC was basically just recycled maps and a couple voiced cutscenes. It was like $40 for that. But like you look at the 9 DLC, I'm like, man, they added new modes to the game. They added post-game challenges. They added 9 weapons. They added full story modes. Now, granted, the story modes in 9 were pretty terrible just because there's $0 budget. It's like no production values, but if you're into the story, I think that it was worth the money. It was definitely overpriced, but they added a lot to that game. And then you look at the games after, and the DLC quality has taken a massive dump. Pirate Warriors 4 DLC was good. Uh, the first and second pack. The second pack was definitely better than the first pack, but that was probably the last time a Muso game got good DLC. It's like worth the money and adds enough to the game that even if you already did everything in the game, like it was enough to keep you playing for another couple dozen hours. I think that'd probably be the high standard. Low standard would be Samurai Warriors 5 or just no DLC at all, like Three Hopes. I got like 70 hours out of Three Hopes. It's not like I didn't get my money's worth, but it really felt like, man, this game really needed something. It's kind of strange because the first Fire Emblem Warriors got like a it was like $20 for the expansion pass. It added a ton of content. Now, the problem with Fire Emblem DLC was that they added 3 characters per pack, but only one of them had a new moveset. The others were clones in a game that already had too many clones. So, technically, you're paying for cloned movesets. And I remember people being really upset about that, but then you look at, like, Samurai Warriors 5 after that. I'm like, they did make DLC for that game, but it wasn't what it needed. It could have easily added at least, like, 5 more unique movesets, and I think that would have been enough to keep some of the characters fresh. But I don't know of a single person who bought the Samurai Warriors 5 DLC. It would have been better to have nothing than that. Rise of the Ronin. Maybe they're like changing how they do DLC because like Rise of the Ronin is the only Team Ninja action RPG that didn't get a single piece of DLC. And like the fact that they just announced the PC version this morning tells you that that game's not going to get anything. So I don't know. Maybe like they're changing how they do things. But like generally with Koei games, as much as people whine and moan about the DLC, it's usually worth the money. If you like the game the first time, like it's always worth buying the season pass. Always. Stranger Paradise, I hated the first playthrough of that game, but I still played it for like 200 hours. The DLC saved that game. Yeah, the God Ning costume was awesome. The costumes were really cool. There was a lot of work put into them. I'd say the problem with Nine's monetization was just having 3 season passes was too much. And people see that and they think that the game is trying to fleece them. The DLC is actually better than a lot of other games for the price, if you can get it on sale. uh, I think I'm gonna call it early tonight, folks. I didn't really sleep much today. There's a very high chance I'm gonna have to work with the cats tomorrow. Uh, so I think I'll probably try to get some rest. If not, I'll probably come back with something chill like Diablo. The DLC practices greatly depends on who's publishing the game. You notice Dynasty Warriors 9 had like $120 of DLC, like double the price of the game. But then you look at the Neo 2 DLC, it was like 20-30 bucks, right? And it added like 3 new movesets, 3 new weapons, more loot, more difficulty modes, end game modes and stuff. Like for 20-30 bucks, that's worth it, right? No one can complain about that. Stranger Paradise, same thing. The DLC was like $30. It added an insane amount of content for the price. Uh, but I find when they publish the games themselves that the DLC is way worse value. Like the Pirate Warriors 4 DLC, the second one was like $30. And it added like multiple endgame modes. It added really fun characters. It added endgame progression. I mean, if you wanted to come back to the game, but you ran out of stuff to do, I mean, it's definitely worth $30 for sure. Well, the thing about that grow is that when they get commissioned to make the games, the DLC uh, is way cheaper and better value. And when they make the game themselves, you get stuff like Samurai Warriors 5 DLC, which is like $40 and adds nothing of value to the game for the price. Fire Emblem, same thing. That's the thing about the Fire Emblem Warriors DLC is like, yeah, it was pretty dumb that you're paying for clones, but it was only $20. You could kind of look past it for that price. If they did that in like a mainline Dynasty Warriors game, it would be like double or triple the price. And then you're like, okay, I can't justify paying for this. But Fire Emblem Warriors DLC was kind of weird. It was like $20, $25. It was worth buying, but you still kind of were paying for clones. But the price was enough that you could kind of look past it. I know if they did that for like Origins, it would be like 35, $40. Like almost the price of the game itself. I know that they would do that. But yeah, people don't really notice that. Like, they wonder why the DLC is inconsistent. It's like, you gotta look at the criteria. Are they publishing the game themselves? Or is someone else doing it? The Neo games, insane value for the money. If you liked the first playthrough and you wanted to keep playing, it was a no-brainer. You could get easy 100 plus hours out of that DLC. Stranger Paradise, same thing. Neo 2, same thing. Um, Wo Long was kind of the exception because I think that they self-published that game, but the DLC was very fairly priced. Um, I'd say the problem with the Wo Long DLC is that the game was really bad at launch, and they probably didn't sell as many copies as they wanted. That game was terrible at launch. It felt like such a major downgrade from Neo 2. They did make it into a good game eventually, but the DLC was very fairly priced for that game as well. Here, I'll go ahead and I'll show it right now before I go. I'll look it up right now. Let's see, where is it? Where's Muso? How much was the DLC for this game? $35. Look at this. Look at this. You get horse armor. You get weird looking weapons that aren't actually new movesets. They're just stat sticks. I mean, it is cool that there's more story if you're into that, but I feel for that price point, you're not getting anywhere near enough for the price. That's way too expensive. I feel like at this point, if you're interested in Samurai Warriors 5 story, why would you buy this? Because you could just watch it online. Gameplay wise, there's nothing new at all. It's horses and, weird looking weapons. Is that worth $35 when you compare it to, like, other stuff from the same company? Like, right now, this is on sale for $20. It adds 9 new characters. Uh, it adds a post-game roguelike mode. It also adds other roguelike modes that are actually kind of cool because the first DLC for this game was like an old school PS2 Muso level where you had to find objectives and stuff. You had to play efficiently. It was really fun to figure out. I did a couple videos for it. The base price for this is $30. It was definitely worth that price. I got another 40, 50 hours out of the game. Right now it's on sale for $20. Like, hey, if you have Pirate Warriors 4 on Steam, and you're looking for something to play, I already did Origins. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. That's a good value for the money. What else do I have here? Well, see, this version of the game doesn't come with the DLC, but the season pass for this was also like I think $30, and it added hundreds of hours of content. It was definitely worth paying for. Stranger in Paradise, same thing. Like right now, the DLC for this is $7. I mean that's worth it. That's a steal if you like the game. It adds so much stuff to the game. Yeah, they don't really have any consistency with how they price their DLC, unless somebody else is commissioning it. Because I noticed when they get the games commissioned, uh, the DLC is way better value. Fire Emblem Warriors I already mentioned, Neo, Stranger Paradise. Anyway, that's enough rambling for now. I'm gonna try to get some rest. If I wake up early, we'll probably play some Diablo or some more Wendigo. Good night, everybody.